Truckers could bring their protests over vaccine mandates to the Super Bowl.
And United States inflation hits a 40-year high. Newswatch starts right now.
Good evening, I'm Sarah Donaldson.
And I'm Madison Moore. Welcome to Newswatch, your source for news impacting southeastern Ohio. Sherrod Brown is blaming Republicans over questions surrounding this year's primary election date. Ohio Public Radio reports the Ohio Democrat is against splitting the state's primary over 2 separate days, an idea that Republican State Senate President and Redistricting Commission member Matt Huffman floated yesterday. The Ohio Supreme Court has turned down 3 separate redistricting maps drawn by state GOP lawmakers, and with absentee ballots needing to be mailed to Ohioans overseas in 5 weeks. Brown says it falls on the Republicans if Election Day is pushed back.
As if he didn't have anything to do with that, as if the arrogance and the delay by Republicans costing taxpayers millions and millions of dollars.
The West Virginia Public Service Commission issued a final order in its investigation of Suddenlink's quality of service on Wednesday. The company failed to provide a safe and reliable service to West Virginia subscribers. According to the PSC, the company intentionally reduced its maintenance work and budget, reduced the number of full-time employees, and ignored thousands of customer complaints. Suddenlink received the maximum penalty of over $2 million and is ordered to relocate to a call center in West Virginia. The company has 90 days to notify the commission when the call center will open. West Virginia is receiving federal funding to ensure housing for homeless residents. 3 housing organizations were granted over $100,000 in funding Wednesday from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. The money was divided among 3 facilities, including the West Virginian Coalition to End Homelessness, the Housing Authority of Mingo County, and the Greater Wheeling Coalition for Homelessness. According to U.S. Senators Joe Manchin and Shelley Moore Capito, the money will be used for counseling services, promoting financial literacy, and other programs to address homelessness, people of all ages. The Kentucky foster care system is in desperate need of volunteers to review foster children cases. According to the Administrative Office of Courts, the foster system needs people to oversee cases to ensure foster children find a safe, permanent home as quickly as possible. Officials are seeking volunteers in all of the state's 120 counties. The job requires 1 day each month dedicated to reviewing cases. Volunteers must consent to a criminal background check and complete a training program.
Hi everyone, I am forecaster Ashley Ziegler, and right now in Athens we have a temperature of 35 degrees with mostly partly cloudy skies for tonight. Sunset was at 5:59 p.m., so almost reaching 6 p.m. And as we head further into the year this year, that time will just keep getting pushed back later, and will eventually within the next week or two reach 6 p.m. Humidity is at 70%, but because it is very cold outside, there's not very much moisture in the air, which means although the value is high, it is still very dry outside, and winds are blowing from the west at 6 miles an hour. Here is our regional temps for right now. They range from the low 30s to low 40s, 33 in Columbus, 35 in Athens, 42 in Ironton. And for our weekend highlights, Friday we'll have highs into the 50s, rain in the afternoon Friday, and then we'll continue into Saturday, and we'll clear up and allow cloudy skies for Sunday. Back on over to Sarah.
Thanks, Ashley. The graffiti wall on Ohio University's campus has a fresh coat of paint. Some Joe Burrow enthusiasts took to the wall today to spray paint it in support of the homegrown hero. And from Athens to the Cincinnati Bengals to a staple Burrow outfit, it captures the local excitement that's been bubbling since his 2019 Heisman win. The fresh murals come as the rest of Athens prepares for Sunday, what Governor Mike DeWine has declared Cincinnati Bengals Day. Newswatch reporter Lexi Lepoff has more on how Joe Burrow's home county is preparing to root him on and celebrating what he's already done for Southeast Ohio.
Pretty much everywhere you look around Athens, you'll see plenty of orange and black. Why? Joe Burrow in the Super Bowl.
It's exciting, and the city is going to have a whole different look on Court Street and showing the Athens support of a Plains native son.
Burrow is a hometown hero for many around the area. One of those people is Athens native and owner of Ohio is Home, Tim Martin.
It's a small town, not a lot of us do big things, not a lot of us really stay in Athens either. So the fact that somebody's gone so far and then still really remembers and appreciates their roots, and talks about, Athens even more than Columbus or whatever, that really means a lot.
Burrow's Heisman acceptance speech spotlighting food insecurity in the region inspired Martin to design apparel in support of the quarterback. That speech also inspired hundreds of people to donate to organizations combating food insecurity. And a new fund set up after the speech, the Joe Burrow Hunger Relief Fund has reached $1.3 million in donations. Some local businesses in the area are now offering special deals to contribute donations. One example is Donkey Coffee's Burrow and Bengals drinks that benefit the Athens County Food Pantry.
I think it just goes with who Joe is, and it honors him and his heart and passion for people and this community specifically.
Donkey Coffee owner Angie Pyle says she isn't much of a football fan, but Burrow's character and effect on the community has brought her and many others in.
I've seen people have a sense of pride and excitement. I think it just has provided a huge boost of morale over the past few years for people, which feels really good.
Burrow will represent Southeast Ohio on a national stage this Sunday at the Super Bowl. In Athens, I'm Lexi Lepoff for Newswatch.
Burrow and the Bengals will take on the Rams this Sunday night in Los Angeles at 6:30. Inflation hits its highest rate in 40 years, and the trucker protests could impact the Super Bowl. These stories and more when Newswatch returns.
Next time on Antiques Roadshow, check out the treasures we discovered in New Hampshire's White Mountains.
I was intrigued because it references Jackie Robinson and Branch Rickey both.
I'm absolutely thrilled to see this.
Howard Chandler Christie was basically the Andy Warhol of his time.
It's Antiques Roadshow, next time from the Omni Mount Washington Resort in New Hampshire.
We are just halfway through season 12 and the stage is set for the OHSAA tournament. We will have all the updates on the TVC standings and break down the final week of the regular season. Plus, we hear from the voices of the Buckeyes in our journey beyond the court. Stay up to date on all the heroics as we near tournament time by tuning in to WOUB Sunday nights at 11 and Monday nights at 6. From all of us at Hardwood Heroes, we're reminding you to be heroic.
This is the largest movement of living things on Earth. And every predator in these waters knows it. It's a mass migration of sardines. Why they gather is a mystery. But the result is a feast that will sustain an entire coastline of creatures.
Here in southern England, the remains of Ice Age mammoths have just been discovered. Why were the mammoths here? Could ancient humans have hunted them?
It's like a really big whodunit. It's exciting.
What can this remarkable site reveal about life and death deep in the Ice Age?
The end of the story isn't completely tragic.
Great Mammoth Mystery on Nova.
If you're looking to buy a house this year, you might want to wait. The cost of buying a home rose by double-digit percentages across most of the U.S. in the last quarter of 2021. According to the National Association of Realtors, the median price of a home was just under $362,000. That's up about 15% from the previous year. Punta Gorda, Florida had the biggest jump in home prices with a 28.7% increase. The most expensive real estate in 2021 was in San Jose, California, part of Silicon Valley, where the median price of a home is more than $1.6 million. Realtors believe home prices should begin to normalize later in 2022 when more homes come on the market. New numbers are out today on how high inflation has risen in the U.S., and it's worse than most economists thought. Americans have certainly been feeling the pinch with everything from groceries and cars to housing costing more. President Joe Biden acknowledges the hardship it's placed on households and says he is optimistic the numbers will ease by the end of the year. Chris Wynn has all the details.
Across the country, prices are rising faster than they have in nearly 4 decades, causing more anxiety among many Americans, including small business owners who are trying to manage.
For me, it's just hurting us more as a business individual than having it passed to them and hurting them more, because the way things are.
The U.S. Consumer Price Inflation Index rose 7.5% over the past year before seasonal adjustments. That's the steepest climb in prices since the year ending in February of 1982, according to data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics.
I'm going to work like the devil to bring gas prices down, which I'm going to working to make sure that we keep strengthening the supply chains to bring the cost of energy and everything else and the goods that come to America down by helping the ports 24/7, by changing a whole range of things.
Prices went up across the board last month, including for housing, furniture, used cars, and healthcare. The increases even worse than economists had predicted. But the president's advisors maintain the situation will improve this year.
What the forecasts tell you is that the job market should stay tight and get even tighter, supporting wage growth while inflation decelerates, while it slows.
Relief that can't come soon enough for consumers.
Hopefully they will understand, because this is not just happening to our facility, it's happening all over.
In Washington, I'm Chris Wynn.
From the Super Bowl to the grocery aisle, pandemic problems just keep coming. Some of the latest issues aren't just about the virus. They're the result of disagreements over how to handle it. Amy Kiley reports.
COVID-19 cases and hospitalizations are dropping overall in the U.S., but our pandemic problems aren't over yet. You know those convoys disrupting travel between the U.S. and Canada? Truckers might be planning one around the Super Bowl. That's according to the Department of Homeland Security. Truckers and other protesters in Ottawa, Canada say they're stopping traffic there to stop vaccination requirements and COVID restrictions.
If we don't make any changes now, we're going to lose all freedom.
I even made and sold masks at the beginning of this. But you know what? When you keep doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result, that's the definition of insanity.
The convoys threaten to worsen supply chain issues. Already the pandemic has led to problems with supplies and higher prices. Goldman Sachs predicts grocery bills will remain high all year. Even Super Bowl snacks cost more right now. Meanwhile, states like New York are trying to get back to normal.
It is the right decision to lift this mandate for indoor businesses.
The CDC is more cautious.
We are working on that guidance. Our hospitalizations are still high. Our death rates are still high. We are not there yet.
But some experts say we could be on our way.
I think we're moving from pandemic to endemic. I think what it's going to boil down to in the end is what level of disease or what level of hospitalization or what level of death we're willing to live with.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
COVID numbers have continued to trend downward throughout the country and in the state. Ohio has been under 7,000 cases every day so far in February. How students are keeping up with their New Year's resolution. That story's still ahead.
It has been a fair day in Southeast Ohio, but what will this weekend look like? Find out more in my full forecast, but for now, let's take a look at stocks of local interest.
This is the largest movement of living things on Earth. And every predator in these waters knows it. It's a mass migration of sardines. Why they gather is a mystery. But the result is a feast that will sustain an entire coastline of creatures.
This is crazy.
On Finding Your Roots, John Leguizamo
A ninth grandfather? What, are you going to go to the beginning of time?
and Lena Waithe.
It feels like one big, huge blessing to be connected to all of these people.
Monumental family history.
My chest is pumped up a little bit. I do feel a little boastful.
And an unexpected ancestor.
You descend from a Native American woman.
What?
Next time on Antiques Roadshow, check out the treasures we discovered in New Hampshire's White Mountains.
I was intrigued because it references Jackie Robinson and Branch Rickey both.
I'm absolutely thrilled to see this.
Howard Chandler Christie was basically the Andy Warhol of his time.
It's Antiques Roadshow, next time from the Omni Mount Washington Resort in New Hampshire.
We are just halfway through season 12 and the stage is set for the OHSAA tournament. We will have all the updates on the TVC standings and break down the final week of the regular season. Plus, we hear from the voices of the Buckeyes in our journey beyond the court. Stay up to date on all the heroics as we near tournament time by tuning in to WOUB Sunday nights at 11 and Monday nights at 6. From all of us at Hardwood Heroes, we're reminding you to be heroic.
Welcome back, everyone. Here is our surface analysis from what we saw today. As you can see, there's a high pressure system sitting to our south in eastern Kentucky. This is what caused the beautiful clear skies that we saw today, although we still saw some pretty chilly temperatures from that cold front that moved in late last night. But as we look into tomorrow, the low pressure system that was sitting up here today will be moving through our area. We'll see a warm front in the early hours of tomorrow into the late morning, which will allow us to see temps into the low and mid 50s. But as we head into the afternoon, we'll have two cold fronts move through our area, which will bring us the chance of rain showers that we'll see after 1 p.m. tomorrow, as well as the wind gusts up to 20 miles an hour between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. And here is our hour by hour for tonight. 8 p.m., 32 degrees. Winds will start to slow down from what we've seen today as we head into the nighttime hours. No precipitation is expected. We'll cool to 27 by midnight, and cloud cover will increase as we get into those late nighttime hours. In Athens tonight, we'll have a low of 26 degrees. Wind chill will bring it down to 23, so very chilly outside if you have any plans tonight. And then winds will be blowing from the southwest between 0 and 10 miles an hour. It'll be pretty calm during the early nighttime hour, but as we get into late morning or early morning tomorrow, it'll be pretty windy. And then here are the lows for tonight, anywhere from the low 20s to low 30s, 26 in Newark, 26 in Athens, 30 in Ironton, with some clear skies to our south. And your hour by hour for tomorrow, 8 a.m., 32 degrees. It'll warm up rapidly to 49. Wind chill will be at 25 at 8 a.m. And as I said, as we get into those morning hours, those wind gusts will start at 10 a.m. and continue through until 4 p.m. Here is Athens tomorrow. Your high will be 54 degrees, partly cloudy skies in the morning until that cold front moves through, bringing those rain chances in the afternoon. 20-mile-an-hour wind gusts. Rain will start after 1 p.m. and wind will be blowing from the southwest between 5 to 10 miles an hour. Regional highs will vary from the low 40s to upper 50s, 45 in Columbus, 54 in Athens, 59 in Ironton, with sunny skies to our east. And then here is our 7-day forecast. 54 is what we'll see tomorrow. It'll cool down into the weekend and beginning of the week and to the, and it'll start to warm up again into Wednesday with 55 degrees. And then, and then our lows will be pretty chilly in the weekend and early morning. I'll throw it back on over to Kate. Research shows that 95% of New Year's resolutions are fitness related. But after 3 months, only 10% of people think that their resolutions will last. We talked with some people who are beating those odds and keeping up with their fitness resolutions. Keeping up with New Year's resolutions can be very difficult, but there are some key factors to staying motivated. A student at Ohio University, Audrey Groen, began attending classes to help her stay consistent with her fitness goals.
We would say to each other after a workout, like, hey, whose idea was this? But then we kept going again, and we absolutely loved it, and we can just see progress, and it's so addicting and motivating.
An F45 instructor, Ava Penley, has some advice for sticking with these fitness goals.
So everyone likes to do New Year's resolutions, but ultimately, joining something that's going to make you stay consistent, make you show up, and make you work hard. So definitely joining something where other people can support you and where you're able to stay consistent.
Some people starting resolutions try out classes, and others use the buddy system.
Go with a buddy. Working out and teaching yourself stuff is kind of hard, so I always learn stuff from each other and from her and everything, and that makes you more resilient to keep on going.
And also, it doesn't hurt to look up lifts beforehand. I know I do a little of Googling, or sometimes even TikTok these days shows you some good workouts.
Fitness can be really hard to get into, but one thing to remember is consistency is key.
Be consistent. Think about it, you're not gonna see results right away.
And there's no better feeling than achieving your goals. If you need help staying consistent with your fitness goals and want to try a class, the Ping Recreation Center offers F45 classes for students and non-students with day, month, or semester passes. Reporting live from the studio, I'm Kate Anderson.
Coming up later on in sports, a big week of high school basketball is already producing some eye-popping results. And right after the break, how will Ohio men's basketball team bounce back after that tough loss to Toledo? Now, here's a look at what's coming up tonight on your local public television station.
This is crazy.
On Finding Your Roots, John Leguizamo
A ninth grandfather? What, are you going to go to the beginning of time?
and Lena Waithe.
It feels like one big, huge blessing to be connected to all of these people.
Monumental family history.
My chest is pumped up a little bit. I do feel a little boastful.
And an unexpected ancestor.
You descend from a Native American woman.
What?
Here in southern England, the remains of Ice Age mammoths have just been discovered. Why were the mammoths here? Could ancient humans have hunted them?
It's like a really big whodunit. It's exciting.
What can this remarkable site reveal about life and death deep in the Ice Age?
The end of the story isn't completely tragic.
Great Mammoth Mystery on Nova.
In the event of a lockdown, there are simple steps to take that will keep us all safe.
Some people will say, oh, it's just some kid playing. The problem is we can't take that risk anymore.
It feels very scary. Sometimes I don't want to come to school because I think I might not come home the next day.
So were you suggesting and perhaps somebody should have been armed and killed somebody?
Ready! Fire! The building lockdown drill is now over.
Bulletproof. Monday, February 14th at 10/9 Central on Independent Lens.
On Greta Thunberg, a year to change the world as the global pandemic emerges.
I have contracted the coronavirus.
Greta sees technology as only a partial solution to climate change.
We have lots of solutions. The problem is time.
And she shows how personal choices can make a big difference.
We cannot fight climate change without individual change, the way we behave, the way we consume.
Greta Thunberg, a year to change the world.
Hello again, I'm Ethan Sargent with sports. It's a get-right kind of night for the Ohio men's basketball team as they travel to Mount Pleasant to take on the Central Michigan Chippewas. It's game 2 of this 3-game road tilt for the Bobcats, who dropped the first of those games against Toledo on Tuesday. The Bobcats could have had a stranglehold on the top of the MAC with a win, but instead, the Rockets regained control of first place. Ohio will have to respond after that 77-62 loss Tuesday. They have a great chance to do so against the Chippewas. Central Michigan sits 6th in the MAC with a 6-14 overall record, but they do have a surprisingly good 5-4 conference record. This game was originally scheduled for January 15th, and Bobcat senior Tommy Schmock says his team is up for the challenge presented over this tough 3-game set.
I mean, it's a short turnaround. We got to move forward. You know, no sad faces, no gloomy faces, and I think all our guys are very mature, so we'll know how to bounce back.
It's a packed week of action on the court across Southeast Ohio. Conference regular season titles are coming down to the wire, and the playoffs are quickly approaching. The Alexander and Vinton County girls teams played a huge game last night, and with a win, the Vikings could have clinched the TVC Ohio regular season title. The Vikings were able to hold Marley Grinstead and the rest of the Spartans in check, and in the end, Vinton County clinched the TVC Ohio in style, 53-33. Let's take a quick look at the girls' standings in the Ohio and the Hocking. As we heard, the Vinton County Vikings clinched the TVC Ohio regular season title over Alexander last night, while Nelsonville Yorks and Meggs followed close behind. The TVC Hocking is much more open. State-ranked Waterford and Trimble lead the way, and South Gallia is still in the race with an outside chance to steal the title right under the nose of their powerhouses. Eastern and Belpre follow close behind as the girls prepare for the playoffs this coming week. To stay up to date on everything high school hoops across the region, make sure to check out Hardwood Heroes every Sunday night at 11 p.m. and Monday nights at 6 p.m. The Columbus Blue Jackets head to upstate New York tonight to take on the Buffalo Sabres. The Blue Jackets are in the thick of the pack in the Metropolitan Division, sitting in 5th place. They play a Sabres team that has struggled again this season as they come in sitting 7th in the Atlantic Division with a 14-24-7 record. Keep an eye on former 2nd overall pick Patrick Lane for the Blue Jackets. He's got 9 points in 6 goals in his last 5 games, while Adam Tuck has 3 assists and 5 points in his last 5. The game is set for a 7 o'clock puck drop from KeyBank Center. Some sad news out of Sheridan today as legendary football head coach Paul Culver Jr. died last night. The news was announced on Twitter by Culver Jr.'s son, Paul Culver III, who is now the head coach of the football program. He wrote, "The world seems a little less intense today, a little less determined, a little less right." Culver Jr. led the Sheridan Generals to 14 MVL championships, 2 state Final Four trips, and a state runner-up in 1987 in his 33 years as head coach of Sheridan. He coached high school football for 44 years. Coach Culver was 72 years old. That's all for sports. Back over to you, Sarah and Madison.
Thanks, Ethan. NASA has chosen Lockheed Martin to help carry samples from Mars back to Earth. The space and defense contractor has been tasked with building the Mars Ascent vehicle. The rocket would land on the red planet to retrieve rocks and dirt currently being gathered by the rover Perseverance. The aircraft has to be strong enough to withstand Mars' harsh environment, but also small enough to fit inside another lander. The 6-year contract with Lockheed Martin is worth about $194 million. If successful, the Mars Ascent vehicle would be the first to launch from another planet. NASA says the samples won't likely return to Earth until the early 2030s.
Hi everyone, welcome back. Here's the service analysis for tomorrow. A warm front will come in early morning, allowing us to see temps into the 50s, but then later in the afternoon, 2 cold fronts will move through our area, bringing those temps down, and a chance of rain throughout the afternoon and in the morning. High of 54, 20-mile-an-hour wind gust. Rain will be after 1 p.m. Winds will be blowing from the southwest at 5 to 10 miles an hour. And here are the regional highs for tomorrow as well. Back on over to Madison.
And that does it for our broadcast this evening. Thanks for watching. I'm Madison Moore.
And I'm Sarah Donaldson. Stay tuned for the PBS NewsHour coming up next. And remember, you can find the latest news anytime at woub.org. Have a great night.
Support comes from Dean Heating and Cooling. Stay warm this winter with energy-efficient Tempstar heating. Dean Heating and Cooling provides HVAC services and installation